Hello and welcome to the 2009 Magic the Gathering World Championships. I'm Randy Buehler. I'm here with Brian David Marshall, and it is time for the quarterfinals. We're going to start on the match with the hometown hero, former Italian national champion William Cavalieri, and there you see his opponent, Bram Snepvangers. Bram is in his fourth top 8. He's from the Netherlands. He's got fully 300 lifetime pro points, has played basically every pro tour for the last 10, 12 years. He has missed like one here and there. He's playing a Boris Bushwhacker deck, red-white aggro, one of the well-known decks in this format, but Cavalieri is playing a really nice mono-white tokens deck. Could be a particularly good matchup for Cavalieri. We shall see. Cavalieri really got the crowd behind him, and what do you think of this matchup, Brian?
I like Cavalieri in the matchup. I love the Soul Warden.
Yes.
Soul Warden Conqueror's Pledge seems like it's particularly well suited to beating a a weenie beatdown deck.
Right.
The burn spells in Bram's deck should give him some reach, but I think he can't reach far enough past all that life gain.
It's true. No Soul Warden out of the gates, though.
No, he's holding one, but he chose to play the White Knight here.
Oh, interesting. He slow rolled a Soul Warden. Step Link's fetch land will smash in for 4.
Go to 60.
Did he have the Soul Warden on the first turn?
It looked like he did.
I mean, he might have. I didn't see his hand right at the beginning of the game. I mean, turn 2, you would play White Knight over Soul Warden, I think.
Yeah, it's
maybe he just drew it.
Turn 2.
I can't imagine you slow roll it. All right, well, there you see some of the landfall action that Zendikar introduced to the format. Bram plays a fetch land. That gives the Step Links +2/+2. Cracks it for another +2/+2. So 4 damage.
White Knight's an interesting card. We've seen a little bit of this tournament. It's a card that we're seeing specifically in main decks, I believe, to deal with the sprouting Thanaxes and other Jund threats that are kicking around.
Yeah, there is the Soul Warden. And is that Knight of the White Orchard?
Knight of the White Orchid. Not as good on the play.
So Cavalieri gains 1 to 17. Now what? You just start attacking, right? What's he thinking about here?
Well, he's got 4 points of first strike damage there. He might want to. He's thinking about whether or not he wants to hold his 2 guys back, or is he going to set his White Knight in? I think he's going to set his White Knight in. He's not going to put 2 guys in front of a creature and possibly just get wiped out by a lightning bolt.
Yeah, it seems like you attack. And he does. So White Knight heads into the red zone. That'll even the life totals at 17 apiece.
Snepvangers 17, Cavalieri 17.
Bram seems like maybe a little more land than he really wants to have.
Land is good now, right?
Yeah, it'll keep turning on Step Links, but no 2-drop is not really the way he drew his deck up. He's got, he chose not to play a Skyfisher on turn 2.
15.
It's actually pretty,
Snepvangers 17, Cavalieri 15.
He's going to play it now and then replay his Step Links rather than set himself back.
This is mandatory, by the way. I know.
yeah, Ranger Vio is sitting in his hand.
But then he gives 2 life to his opponent on the Soul Warden to do that.
You can't.
Yeah, that looks like the play, though. Does not want to delay Ranger Vios by turn.
Okay.
So chooses to trigger Soul Warden again instead.
Bram helpful. Oh, it's a must on Soul Warden.
Soul Warden is a must, absolutely. You are certainly obliged to point that out to your opponent.
Bram, one of the more courteous players on the Pro Tour.
Definitely. All right. So Step Links from Cavalieri. Another life. Wow. Blisteringly fast win on the back table. Terry So already up a game on Manuel Bucher. Turn 4 kill.
Now that is a based on what I was speaking to Olivier Ruel and Antoine Ruel, who were handling the play testing
for
Manuel Bucher last night. That is a crippling blow. Manuel Bucher is a 75% favorite they felt in game 1.
Wow.
And it's a 50-50 post sideboard and maybe slightly worse post sideboard. And they felt that winning game 1 was critical for Manuel to advance to the semifinals.
All right, meanwhile, Snepvangers attacks with the Skyfisher for 2 and drops Ranger Vios. Speaking of the Ruels, there's Antoine Ruel's Invitational winning card. Really a very important card in this format. It's interesting that fully 4 of the 8 decks here are running Ranger Vios in this top 8. I think a lot of that is just the card advantage that you can get from it gives you a little bit of ability to sort of fight against Jund.
Yeah.
Like so many of the Jund cards are like 2 for 1, you 2 for 1, you 2 for 1. Well, I'm going to 3 for 1 back.
Right. I get back off. I grow back my hand after your Blightning, which is fantastic.
Right.
And you know, in a deck like Bram's, it can be brutal. You know,
right, you're getting Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers. Yeah.
Now he chose to get Steplings, which is interesting. God, next turn, Bram is actually set up for an amazing next turn, right? He can go Steplings, Bushwhacker with Kicker. They've all got haste.
Possibly a fetch land. They get essentially all 3 Steplings get +5.
The Soul Warden looks amazing for Cavalieri, though. Really takes a lot of the sting out of a draw like that. All of a sudden, you know, gain 3, turn just does not sting as much. Oh, interesting. We're watching Terry So and Manuel Bucher sideboard. One of the debates we had was, what is the fate of Goblin Guide? Goblin Guide is one of the more controversial cards in Terry So's version of the Naya deck. Right. Certainly, the French, the Ruels, Bucher, when they were playtesting, felt like the Goblin Guides were terrible, but it wasn't clear they were playing them quite the same way Terry plays them.
They felt that was the misstep of that deck.
That the Goblin Guides were just plain bad.
Yeah, they could not be played on turn 1. There were other things you wanted to do on turn 2.
But the way Terry was playing them, I mean, he would Ranger Vios, pull up a couple of them, and could potentially just, you know, 4-power haste out of nowhere in the mid-game.
4 damage you were not counting on.
Here, Cavalieri plays land and attacks with his Steplings. Chose not to crack the fetch land. He'll save that as a giant growth for later. So anyway, Terry So, turns out, he did sideboard out the Goblin Guides. And that's actually the reason why that matchup is believed to swing toward Terry after sideboarding, is the fact that the Guides head for the sideboard in favor of much more impactful cards in the matchup, like Oblivion Ring and Bane Slayer Angel.
Bane Slayer Angel, out of the sideboard.
All right. Bram is sizing up his options. He's played a Ranger Vios, so he's filled his hands with more Steplingses. He's got Ranger Vios, Steplings, Skyfisher, so 4 to 6 to possibly 8 power worth of creatures, but Cavalieri's still sitting on fully 17 life. Right. Cavalieri with the Steplings, the Knight of the White Orchid, the White Knight, and that crucial Soul Warden that has gained him how much life? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 life so far?
Right. And he goes
counting?
up another 3 life if Bram plays out his turn, you know, according to script, which is to go Steplings, Goblin Bushwhacker, fetch land. But along the way...
Yeah, it is a little lucky that Cavalieri drew 1, right? He's only got 2 in the main. The other 2 are sitting in the sideboard, and of course they'll come in for this matchup.
Another Ranger in hand for Bram. Wonder if he just stocks up for the super mega alpha strike a turn later.
Well, there's 4 power first strike sitting on defense, so he can't really afford to attack with much other than the flyer. It seems like he's just should be building up the biggest board he possibly can for some future Bushwhacker turn, right?
A Conqueror's Pledge is going to be pretty back-breaking if that's in his immediate future.
Is he going Steplings here?
He's going
Steplings. He goes Steplings and then Land Ranger, or no, Steplings.
He's just going to crack back here, no? Plays regular and doesn't have a fetch land.
Okay, there's the Bushwhacker.
20, yeah?
So he does go Steplings, Bushwhacker with Kicker, which gives everybody +1/+0 and haste.
Right. Cavalieri's at a full 20 at this point.
Crazy.
I'm attacking.
Yeah, and Bram sends everybody. All those Steplingses are 3 3s. Oh, he doesn't want to send in anybody that can get first struck down. Maybe. Like, all of those creatures win a fight against 1 first striker.
3/3 Ranger, I think.
Ranger is 3/3. It's a good point. I think you just smash. It's not like he wins by playing the long game here, right?
In for a penny, in for a euro, right? Like
holds back the Ranger. No, Ranger's 4/2, not 3/3. It's 3/2 base +1. So yeah, the 4/2 Ranger would be such an easy, obvious block by a 2-power first striker. Right. He is willing to sacrifice the Bushwhacker, which makes sense. I mean, it's
It's done its job.
It's done its job. It's only going to be a 1-1 in the future. So if that one of the first strikers blocks it, that means no step links is going to die. All right, Cavalieri's option here is double block a step links to actually be able to kill it. So you're Cavalieri. Do you double block step links? Is that the play? I mean, anything else, it's either that or you pick off the Bushwhacker. Seems like you double block step links here. You're going to take 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 down to 9, but he's all your creatures stay alive.
He has to respect the path to exile here on a double block.
Yeah, but what else is he going to do? I mean, take 12?
Still thinking.
Oh, Soul Warden trades. Oh, he's willing to trade off the Soul Warden. I think that seems right. Soul Warden is effectively making 2 more life here and killing a creature. I think I like this block from Cavalieri. Although he reconsiders. I think that's his best block. I think he double blocks the step links.
I guess it's a little different if he's holding Conqueror's Pledge. You know, but he, under that circumstance, he's looking to take 9. Still at 11. No.
Yeah, so Soul Warden will trade with the Bushwhacker. The 4-power first strike will eat a step links. He's very happy to see neither of those guys get pathed out from under him.
Knows there's no path from Bram. That's
yeah,
great.
He now knows there's no path to exile. That's exactly right. So Cavalieri falls to 11, and Huntap's very happy to have survived that double block. So dangerous to double block when against an opponent who can potentially kill one of those creatures.
Yeah, I mean, Bram's clearly representing path there.
2 cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, is that a semi-bluff from Bram? But yeah, I don't think Cavalieri could afford to play around path there.
No. No, he has to get one of those off the table.
Cavalieri's hand is, 3 lands. Yeah, all the more reason he can't afford to play around path. All right, plays a land. Triggers the landfall on step links. Probably attacks with it. It's not going to do him any good as an 0-1 defender. Now we know Bram has another Ranger, right?
Yes.
So he can Ranger for Bushwhacker if he's got the 6th land, I believe. Another update from back table, Marijn Lybaert has taken his first game from Andre Coimbra. Bituminous Blast into Maelstrom Pulse, the key play.
Sounds pretty exciting.
We've all seen a lot of that lately. And in the other quarterfinal, Reitbauer versus Pills has turned into a tokens mirror match. Saprolings and beasts everywhere on both sides.
I thought Reitbauer's Jund deck was a little interesting. We see, Master of the Wild Hunt in it. He can make a few more tokens.
Wow, look at Bram's hand. Is really good.
I mean, Bram can just make the same play here, right? He can just
I would Ranger into Bushwhacker, right?
But he's
what's he going to Ranger into?
He's choosing not to.
He's setting up for next turn?
Yeah,
he's going to Ranger into, presumably, step links. Yeah, he tapped his red, which seems wrong to me here. Like,
yeah, he has the mountain in hand. If he goes,
but if he plays his mountain, then he uses up that landfall.
Sure.
If he's going to be attacking with everybody, so he gets Bushwhacker, step links, which is reasonable. I mean, if he's going to play step links and set up Bushwhacker next turn, I guess that's fine. Doesn't matter. That mana tap does make sense. He probably holds the mountain back,
sure,
because he wants it next turn to trigger the landfall on all 3 step links and set up for that one giant attack. That seems way better than leaving up Lightning Bolt.
He would sure love a fetch land next turn, huh?
Okay. Your turn.
So there is the step links.
Ooh, is that a Gargoyle Castle on?
It is a Gargoyle Castle, and Skyfisher is hanging out. Skyfisher attack thwarted by the threat of a Gargoyle hopping into the red zone.
I'm glad to see that. That's good. I'm glad to see getting a little top 8 love here.
Oh, and here we go. Gargoyle comes out. Cavalieri's handful of land. I think he wishes he had spells to cast, but it's nice when your lands turn into 3-4 creatures. The real question, though, is do we have any Gargoyle tokens handy? tokens? Anyone?
We'll get one. You just use a face next. Okay, that's fine.
The answer is no.
That's the wrong side of the card. Cavalieri drew Knight of the White Orchid.
Yeah.
Which does not trigger, but it's still a
Still a first striker.
Still a first striker. Definitely relevant.
Holds off the, you know, he can eat each of the Rangers here.
Yep.
But still a potential for a lot of damage coming through this turn.
Yeah, I mean, Bram set up for a big Bushwhacker turn. We know he's got a mountain. Oh, he drew a fetch land. Wow. Wow, my landfall has so changed. Like, it used to be the lands with the bad draws. All of a sudden, in this standard, you're like, yes, I drew a land. I drew a fetch land that's going to deal me a point of damage. This is awesome. But yeah, this turn is totally set up, right?
Yep.
Bushwhacker with kicker, fetch land, all 3 stepped lynxes wind up at 5/5.
Yeah. 3 white Jizams.
Cavalieri says, okay, fetch land. He knows how bad that is for him. What is... Oh, he's holding off on the Bushwhacker?
Sure.
Really?
There are no real
There's no
blocks for him
sweepers.
here. Cavalieri could have path.
Huh. Dave figures, okay, my guys are 5/5s. You'll have to line up 3 first strikers if you want to kill one. And we know Bram has a lightning bolt. So,
right.
Yeah, there's no good blocks here. That's true. Cavalieri at 10. Gargoyle and a first striker can potentially tag team a Steplings. Steplings would trade for either one of them. There's no good double block, right?
Why you didn't go?
He can't block 2 of them and he can't even threaten to kill 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah, I guess Bram's play here is pretty good. And that Bushwhacker's public knowledge, so Cavalieri's got to be saying, well, he chose not to play the Bushwhacker. What does that mean?
3 first strikers in the path of 1.
I mean, I don't think Cavalieri has a choice. He's got no action in his hand. He has to put Bram on blanks.
He can put...
But now this lightning bolt is going to be so bad.
So he has a fetch land to turn on his step links.
Oh, okay, so that gets it to...
So...
Oh, right, so the fetch land with the step links does mean...
So he's going to eat
he's
one step
threatening
links
to
here.
kill both step linkses. But he's going to get...
He's only going to get 1.
And he's going to get all 3 of his first strikers killed. That's the bad news.
That's
Like
the
that lightning bolt.
What's more important to Bram here? Getting rid of the...
I think getting rid of all 3 first strikers. You lightning bolt a first striker.
Yeah.
You lightning bolt the first striker. The step links kills the other 2 first strikers. And survives? Absolutely.
Mid-combat fetch lands as...
On both sides.
Boom, yep.
Yeah, there's the lightning bolt. So that 2/2 first striker dies. Now it's 4 power worth of first strike versus a 5 toughness step links. And... blood. All right, David Reitbauer has taken a match on the back table, so the Austrian over the German.
William takes 5. He falls to 4 combined.
Cavalieri takes 4 down to 5. Everybody knows Bram's got a Bushwhacker set up. Bram's played this game really well. Those Rangers of Eos have been amazing. It turns out, I mean, they've trumped the Soul Warden, right?
Yeah.
Cavalieri got a bunch of life from the Soul Warden, but Bram's just like, more power, more gas, and has overwhelmed him. Bushwhacker here should seal the deal. Yep. Everybody into the red zone. Cavalieri says, yeah, I hit these 2 planes. Sort of shows his hand because he feels bad. It's not my fault I lost. Look at this terrible draw. All right, so Bram Snepvangers has taken a 1-0 lead.
Great play from Bram. That was
that was nice. That was well played. There were a couple of different forks in the road that were not obvious, but I mean, in retrospect, Bram played that really well. I also think he probably had the better draw, but
yeah.
I thought Cavalieri with that Soul Warden was really put him in great shape, but he needed Conqueror's Pledge. He needed to be able to fight the Ranger of Eos with some card advantaging engine of his own, like a bunch of tokens.
Like a Marshall coup.
Or a Marshall coup. That would do the trick, too. All right, so Bram Snepvangers leads 1-0 in this quarterfinal. These are best 3 out of 5 matchups. They'll play the next 4 games sideboarded. Marijn Lybaert is up in his quarterfinal. He's got a 1-game lead on the Portuguese player, Andre Coimbra, playing a Flores design that's supposed to beat Jund. That's kind of the point of the deck.
Right.
But the Jund player, of course, got the first game. Terry So is up a game on Manuel Bucher. Bucher, the former world's team champion. He was part of the Switzerland team that won a couple years ago. Terry, the former invitationalist, immortalized forever on Rakdos Augur Mage. Then in the final quarterfinal, Reitbauer has a 1-0 lead on Florian Pills. What happens sideboarding here? How does this play out?
I definitely saw Bram reaching for his 2 Bane Slayer Angels.
Sure.
Harm's Way seems like it's always a fine card in these matchups. I'm not. Bram is not someone I would find to be a predictable Magic player. So I have a hard time knowing exactly what he's gonna do. He sort of keeps to himself. He, goes according to his own drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Cavalieri is, probably brings in 1 Brave the Elements. Maybe brings in the other 2 Soul Wardens.
Well, I think the Soul Wardens.
Yep.
Definitely. Elspeth is also sitting in his sideboard as a potential option. What matchup? Like, when do you want Elspeth versus not want Elspeth? That's the kind of card that it seems like it's always good.
Elspeth seems like it's hard to keep on the board in this matchup. It's just so explosive in terms of extra guys attacking all at once.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a continuous source of blockers.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is not that kind of matchup 1-for-1 creatures.
So those of you watching the webcast out there are welcome to send us messages on Twitter. Checking our iPhones periodically. Magic Pro Tour is the Twitter account Brian and I have been using all weekend to bring you sort of coverage here and there of what's going on at Worlds. Now, your pick to win this tournament, you said, was William Cavalieri.
He was my pick to win this match for sure.
Manuel Bucher playing against Terry So got an Emiria Angel into play. Can't draw a land.
Oh no!
Like 4 turns, no birds accompanying the 3/3 Angel.
It's such an upside down world we live in Zendikar.
Why can't I draw lands? Mirroring Angel's a card that has looked great to me all weekend.
Yeah, it's one of the big breakout stars of this weekend. It's not a card we're seeing in a lot of standard decks.
Right.
And mono white decks are running it.
Yep.
Green white decks were running it.
Yep.
Mant decks were running it.
All true.
Decks. Just really shines with Honor of the Pure. It's a 4/4 for 4 under an Honor of the Pure, and makes 2/2 tokens.
Mm-hmm. I've also Johnny is quite good with it as well. Johnny, regular Johnny.
Right. A Johnny Gold.
Everybody getting +1/+1 counters. Yeah. I saw Antoine Ruel playing that. Yeah, some combination of Honor of the Pure, Johnny, or even just on its own. I mean,
yeah, it's fine on its own.
3/3 flyer, play a fetch land, crack it. Suddenly I've got 2 more blockers. You can attack, you can block. It's just
it's the same reasoning behind the Ranger of Eos, right? It's
mm-hmm.
still like
Absolutely.
you get these extra creatures
mm-hmm.
for free.
Right. And I've seen a lot of people think that's apparently the way to go to try to beat Jund. Right. There were a lot of different takes on essentially white decks. Most of them were green-white. I mean, Cavalieri is actually mono-white.
Is he okay?
But, I mean, green-white
okay.
gives you Knight of Reliquary to go with your Emiria Angel, which is something I was very impressed by. I mean, suddenly, Knight of Reliquary, you sack a land. Okay, that triggers landfall. Of course, you get a fetched land so that you can trigger it again. Oh, wow, but it sounds like Cavalieri has actually taken the Emiria Angels out of his deck sideboarding here.
Sounds like he also took out the Snepvangers.
Why did he take out Angel?
Probably
2 in the board right now.
He only has 2 main.
Yeah, he took out both his Angels.
Probably brought in the 2 Soul Wardens, felt that they were more important.
Yeah, but isn't Angel just good? He took out his Marshall coup as well.
It probably does not feel like he has time.
Huh.
21.
Yeah,
so he
put
brought in
breaking
Journey to
elements
Nowhere.
in. He put in the Elspeths, it sounds like. All right, well, there's a Soul Warden.
Brought in Journey to Nowhere.
And
2
Elite Vanguard on
Elspeths,
the other side.
2 Soul Wardens.
Ooh, double Soul Warden.
No, triple
Soul Warden.
A little cheer from the Italian crowd.
The Italian crowd is very happy to see that.
And then 24. Yes.
Cavalieri at 24 and climbing. Terry So now up 2 games to 0 against Manuel Bucher. Bucher's inability to find a land to go with his Amiri Angel really cost him dearly. And Terry's got a 2-0 lead. Only needs to win one of the next 3 to go to the semis.
So Terry So has been as far as a 3rd in a Pro Tour before.
Andre Coimbra equalizes his match against Marijn Lybaert. Double Ruin Blaster. Blowing up a couple of non-basics. Quite good against the Jund player. So Coimbra and Lybaert tied at a game apiece.
Yeah, I really like Mike's package of the Ruin Blasters going up to 4 Johnnies post board against
Mike Flores, who
yeah.
designed Andre Coimbra's deck.
So many of the decks with the
Soul Warden
come into play tap lands. It's just the Ruin Blaster is just brutal.
Sure. So Bram got in an attack with his Elite Vanguard. Cavalieri chose not to block. Bram picked off 1 Soul Warden with a Burst Lightning. Yeah, now here's White Knight. So 2/2 First Striker, which is a pretty quality creature in this matchup, and 2 life from the 2 Soul Wardens. Fetch land from Cavalieri, but no landfall. Feels almost disappointing. It's like, I'm using my fetch land. It's just a fetch land. What's the point of that? Bram's hand.
Looks like Bram also brought in an Elspeth.
I could go either way, Scott. I kind of want to get those guys on camera. They are 2 of the bigger names. I'm definitely always going to go there after this. But
So Bram is looking at playing he has the option of playing either an Oblivion Ring this turn or Core Skyfisher and replay his Elite Vanguard. Have 4 life.
I think you might Oblivion Ring Soul Warden. I mean, am I misunderstanding how powerful that is? I mean, last game we saw him just play through it, and eventually got so many creatures with the Rangers that he was able to deal, what was it, probably 30-some damage by the end of the game. No Rangers in this draw for Bram. It's going to be an Elspeth game. I mean, that's his powerful card, right?
Sounds like after this game, we're going to check in on the Terry So Manuel Bucher match, which is 2-0 in favor of Terry So at this point.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think Terry So's experience in being in the top 8 already?
It's got to help, right? A little more comfortable. He's been on stage. He's been on camera. Thing is, so has Bucher. I mean, right. Bucher lifted hardware on a World Sunday stage, right? Yeah. World's team champions, part of that Switzerland team. I don't know, that was a couple years ago. This is his first individual top 8.
Sure.
Probably feels a little different.
Thinking.
All right, so Bram cracked a fetch land. Now, he's essentially got Oblivion Ring and Skyfisher as his options. Goes for the Oblivion Ring, points it out of Soul Warden.
Okay.
I like that play. I mean, I think that's the right play. Vanguard, of course, forced to stay back because of the first striking White Knight on the other side of the table. Bram is essentially setting up to play this as an Elspeth game. Although even there, I mean, the first striking white knight's a problem for Elspeth as well. I guess Skyfisher and block is your plan.
We've not seen Honor the Pure at all from Cavalieri yet.
How many does he run?
4.
That seems like a good card. All right, Cavalieri gets in for 2 with his white knight. Bram's at 15. Teetering peaks and attack with Vanguard.
4. Now we pick up
Skyfisher and pick up Teetering Peaks? Or Skyfisher and pick up Vanguard? I think you pick up Teetering Peaks, right?
Teetering Peaks, yeah, for sure. You love it, you've drafted it.
What do you want?
Snepvangers 50, Cavalieri 21.
Alright, Cavalieri's still 21 though. The triple Soul Warden draw has bought him plenty of time. We saw Bram win in the mid-game last time, though. I mean, Cavalieri needs something. He's not going to... Just White Knight's not going to get it done, right? Cracks his fetch land.
We're going to see Elspeth...
Oh, do both players have Elspeth? I haven't gotten a good look at Cavalieri's hand. I know Bram's got Elspeth, Bushwhacker, Teetering Peak, Scalding Tarn.
Oh, no, we see a Ranger.
No, Ranger Vios. Yeah, both players have the Ranger as their card advantage engine.
I ran out.
Yeah, this is. I mean, how much Ranger has there been in Standard?
I mean, Ranger's been a big part of the Zoo decks. It's huge. It's huge in the Boros stack.
Well, no, I mean, obviously it's been around for a while. It just feels like there's been this shift into white as a reaction against Jund.
Yeah, I mean the card advantage it offers is just critical in these.
Yeah, and somehow white is the card advantage color right now, right?
Did he just fail to? He only has 1 soul ward.
Since today...
Oh, he took out his Step Links. Is he really out of 1-drops?
Draft. I sacrificed my only Swamp to Arrow, and then I found out I sideboarded out the second. Oh. I better triple check.
Yeah, I think he's out of 1-drops. Sideboarded out the Step Links. His deck is 2 Soul Ward and 4 Step Links as the 1-drops in the main. Yeah, only 4. Drew 3 of them natural, so that Ranger Vios gets the 1 Soul Warden, and that's it.
So, drafting invitational cards. What order does Ranger Vios go in?
What's the format?
Just drafting. Picking the best cards.
Yeah, it's really interesting how important Ranger of Eos is to this top 8 on the weekend where Antoine Ruel gets inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very fitting, right? I think Bob and Meddling Mage. I mean, Dark Confidant and Meddling Mage are the 2 best invitational cards. I mean, they're both interesting designs. They both play well. They're both, fairly original as designs. I think Ranger Vios is number 3.
I think it's number 3 and right up there with them.
Sorry?
It's a cool card. It's definitely a cool card.
I'm at 20 now for this.
Lost 1 for a fetch to get out to 20 to 21.
I have him. 21.
I mean, maybe it's just the spike in me. I think, Dark Confidant is so powerful. And it's also, Dark Confidant plays so well. I mean, it's just this interesting, like, oh, now I can kill you with your own card, kind of. Just creates these interesting situations.
I think John Finkel would love to win another invitation. I think he feels a little excluded from that club. I mean, Shadow Mage Infiltrate is certainly a card that we've seen, I've seen some tournament play, but it's not in this class.
It wasn't even the best blue-black card in its set, right?
Yeah.
The best wasn't the best 3-mana blue-black creature in its set. Psychotog gets that honor.
I wish I had 6 of those.
Cavalieri says, I wish I had 6 of these, pointing to his Soul Warden.
My deck would be better with 6 of some cards as well.
It's just a tiny 1/1.
Mine is just a tiny 0/1.
Cavalieri is. bracing himself for 4 in the air from...
Yeah, he's probably expecting Teetering Peak Skyfisher.
But instead he's going to see
14.
Elspeth or Ranger of Eos, and just see a little bit of a replay of last game where Bram just sets up his very, very powerful
Rangers
with
into
the
a big
Boros
Bushwhacker
deck.
turn.
Doesn't matter.
That's game 3, Rich? Or was that the way game 2 went? No, that was game 8. Is that game over? Okay.
Sounds like on the back tables, Andre Coimbra's up 2-1. Goblin Ruin Blaster is just devastating the Jund mana base.
Yeah, a pair of Rune Blasters in that game 3, and so Coimbra leads 2-1.
Again, one of the keys to that deck that's been called Naya Lightsaber is that it has its mana all comes into play. Ideally, comes into play untapped.
I kind of wanted to get those guys on camera too. I don't know what we're supposed to hold them as well.
Yeah. Sorry.
22.
Yes.
And there's Ranger of Eos again. So we're going to see 2 Step Lynxes. Seemingly working backwards against the Soul Warden.
Headed to game 4. They're so far ahead.
It's a pair of Step Lynxes.
Do you think that's better than going Elspeth here?
20.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw how powerful how explosive his board is, especially with a dual land where he has suddenly 5/5 hasty Step Lynxes.
21.
He's doing it into double Soul Warden this time, though.
Yeah.
And there's Journey to Nowhere. So Skyfisher is gone.
Good luck.
Conqueror's Pledge here from William would be 12 life, 6 creature swing.
Yeah, I mean, Bram's Rangers just seem so much better than Cavalieri's.
Oh, I mean, if you only have the 4 Soul Wardens to get.
Right, but I mean, even if he'd gotten like a random Step Lynx, when Bram is able to set up for such powerful turns with the Bushwhacker. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Cavalieri really needs Conqueror's Pledge or something big.
And Honor the Pure would be nice also.
Oh, jeez. Reitbauer, the Jund player on the back matchup against Pills. Bituminous Blast into Bloodbraid, into Lightning Bolt, and he's got a 2-0 lead now. So Reitbauer beats Florian Pills and threatening a semifinal, the Austrian player.
So give 6 life to Cavalieri over for Step Lynx, Bushwhacker, Teetering Peaks.
That's a lot of damage.
Send everybody.
Yeah, send everybody.
Something's going to get first struck to death.
2, 3,
Right.
2, 3,
Probably the Vanguard. Or the Ranger.
Um,
Right, 1 first striker for Cavalieri. So we've
3,
got
3, 3, 3.
everybody is +1/+0 thanks to the Bushwhacker. That means that is a 4/2 Ranger of Eos. I gotta think that's the one that gets first struck down. Elite Vanguard is 3/1. I think you trade somebody for that. Yep. Either Ranger or potentially Soul Warden. The Bushwhacker is a 2/1. The Step Lynxes are 3/3s. Who got Teetering Peaks? Step Lynx?
The Goblin Bushwhacker was Teetering Peaks.
Oh, okay, so it makes the Bushwhacker 4/1. Looks like Ranger in front of Ranger. First striking White Knight in front of Elite Vanguard, so that would be taking 3, 6, 10.
He's at 27.
He is at 27. I mean, the Soul Wardens have definitely bought him a bunch of life.
I He's not willing to...
So I go to 17.
Not willing to
Yes.
put the
Save
Soul
for-
Wardens.
yep.
Right, he could trade a Soul Warden for 4 life and a Bushwhacker. But Cavalieri not interested.
Took 10 there.
And I think I see why. 2 different copies of Conqueror's Pledge in Cavalieri's hand. That's why he wants to hold on to those Soul Wardens.
24 life.
That sounds good.
But he needs another land.
Yeah, the thing that is not in Cavalieri's hand is a land.
How many cards?
He's got a Celestial Purge that can potentially kill red things. And 2 copies of Conqueror's Pledge. 17 life left for Cavalieri. We see Bram's hand, by the way, is another Teetering Peaks and that Elspeth.
12.
Yeah, Soul Wardens head into the red zone. If he's not going to attack, if he's not willing to block with them, let's get in some damage. That'll drop Bram to 12.
This is actually could be a pretty big. This is a pretty big turn for Bram here, right?
Teetering Peaks plus Elspeth. Somebody heads to the air.
Plus 5 in the air.
Oh, is that a fetch land?
That is no. That it looks like another Ranger of Eos.
Oh, another Ranger. Oh wow, so he's got options. Well, it basically comes down to do you Elspeth here or do you play Ranger? There's a first striker on defense, so he can't really attack. Oh wow. Game 4, Lybaert versus Coimbra. Lybaert keeps a 6-lander because he's been smashed by Ruin Blaster in back-to-back games. Could actually work out. Like, the land-heavy draw is often good against land destruction. All right, Bram decides that Elspeth is the right play. Elspeth and Teetering Peaks. So that Step Links is gigantic,
4,
right?
7.
The landfall makes it 2
it's a
power. The
7.
Peaks is 4. Elspeth makes it 7, yeah.
12.
Crunch.
Yep.
7 power flyer. Cavalieri down to 10. Desperately needs a land, and needs it more or less right here. Well, purge away the Bushwhacker. Makes sense. All right. Cavalieri needs a land. Draws. Not a land. That is bad news.
How many cards again?
1 card.
White Knight good against John, not so much against the Step Links, especially a flying Step Links.
Yeah. I don't know. Cavalieri probably has another turn, right? I don't know how much the Ranger can do. We know Bram can Ranger for Bushwhacker.
Gains 2 life here, goes up to 12.
Yeah, that helps.
Both players at 12.
Yeah, 12 to piece. It's tied, right?
Yep. But Ranger of Eos represents a 6 additional life for Cavalieri.
But it also represents a big Bushwhacker coming
Sure.
turn.
Let's attack.
All right, Cavalieri
Elspeth.
attacks Elspeth for 4. Bram can just let it go down to 1. That seems reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems fine. All right, now what? Bram draws. Don't know. Fetch land. Bram draws fetch land. Wow. Now do you Ranger into Bushwhacker, play fetch land. The Step Links are gigantic. Somebody goes to the air. Oh, he can get Step Links Bushwhacker. Right, play the Step Links, then fetch land. So 3 Step Linkses will get double pumped. Wow. Yeah, this is a huge turn.
Can he get Cavalieri from 18 now? Which is where he'll be at the end of this sequence.
Right. Yeah, Step Links Bushwhacker.
So that's 10 from the Step Linkses. I assume the Ranger of Eos is going to be flying.
Yeah, I assume. There's the Step Links.
That's
Now here
15 from the
comes
Step Linkses.
here comes the bad news for Cavalieri. Fetch land. Oof. And crack it.
Am I dead?
11.
So all 3 Step Linkses are 5 power. Obviously, Bram's going to get a mountain, which will allow him to play the Bushwhacker with the kicker. Cavalieri will gain 2 more from 16 up to 18. But then, yeah. So that's going to be
I'm not sure if you thought that.
6, 12, 18,
Or you can just play
22,
very well.
23, 24 power. Elspeth makes it 27 power.
He's going to absorb 5 with the White Knight, I assume, chump blocking.
Yeah, I think this is lethal.
So now
But you still have...
I think this is lethal.
I don't know that he has an out here.
No, I mean, I think we might be done.
2 more.
Bushwhacker with the kicker. Right, those step links are 6 power, right?
They're 5 power.
5
plus
power.
2, plus 2, and then plus 1 from the Bushwhacker.
Okay,
5.
5, 10, 15. Cavalieri picks up a planes. He's clearly telegraphing path, which for the record means he does not have it. Right, there's no way he picks up that planes if he actually has the path in his hand. I don't know how good of a poker player Bram is, but that's a pretty clear tell.
Bram doesn't even.
If he's acting strong, he's weak. Like nobody picks up the planes there if they actually have path. Bram's a little nervous about it. I mean, I think it's Ranger, right? Isn't it pretty clearly Ranger?
Yes.
Ranger's the one that can get first struck down, so you send Ranger to the air.
Or it becomes a 7 in the air. You just have to, another 11 has to get through, which is showing on the board. Yeah.
Which one?
Yep. He says, nope, I don't believe you have the path, or if
Yep.
you have the path, I don't care. Cavalieri touches
Hand
his
over, touching
again.
over the planes, threatening it. Does not happen.
Wishing
All
for
right.
it.
So he can block a 5. That's 5, 10, 17, 18, 19.
17.
19.
Yeah, Cavalieri's got nothing. Wow. God, those Rangers are just awesome. Bram Snepvangers wins game 2, able to set up another incredible turn with Rangers just into step linkses and Bushwhackers. So Bram Snepvangers takes a 2-0 lead. The hometown hero, William Cavalieri, back against the wall. He's got to run off 3 straight if he's going to keep the locals happy.
We've seen it happen before.
We have seen it happen before, but we're also going to try to get some other people on camera. So let's go check out the other quarterfinal match between Terry So and Manuel Bucher.
In the words of Hirun Remy,
Yeah.
Ram, Bram, thank you, ma'am.
Prepare to get bamboozled. I think that was the other line I saw. All right. In this match between Bucher and So, Bucher leads with a Triland. So leads with a Noble Hierarch. Misty Rainforest for Bucher. All right, walk us through this deck matchup, Marijn.
So, Terry So is playing Naya. He has...
And it's his brother's take on Naya, right? I mean, he's credited Malaysian national champ this year, Joe So, with building this deck, testing it. Terry had exams at schools, who essentially trusted in the work of his brother, came to Worlds partially to hang out with his brother, who was on the Malaysian national team this year. Oh, and we have our first quarterfinalist. The 6-lander does not work out for Marijn Lybaert, so he fails to advance to out of the quarterfinals for the 3rd time in 3 top 8 appearances.
The Dutch-speaking Belgians continues.
Yeah, the curse of the Dutch-speaking Belgians. So Andre Coimbra is through to the semis. Naya Lightsaber. Mike Flores designed it to beat Jund. Andre Coimbra said, Mike has never steered me wrong, and Mike didn't steer him wrong. Coimbra through to the semis with that Flores build.
17.
Okay. Meanwhile, Terry So would like to join Andre Coimbra in the semifinals. He's up 2-0. Bucher is playing his take on aggro, sort of a green-white, also fairly token-heavy deck. He's got Knight of the Reliquary to go with his Emeria Angel. He's also got Captain of the Watch. He's got 4 Bane Slayers. He's got 3 Honor the Pure and 2 Ajani's. This is the deck that just, it looks so impressive when it works.
Yes.
I mean, the flaw, I think, is that it's kind of a mid-speed deck without much in the way of control elements. So it's not the fastest deck in the world. It can get blown out early if it stumbles, and it's not the most powerful late-game deck in the world. But if you're playing in the mid game, this deck just has so many things it can get going on. Knight, Emeria Angel being maybe the most easy and obvious, but Honor the Pure, Ajani, all of these cards work together really well.
And he felt that after boarding, he had a hard time keeping up with Terry So's deck.
Okay.
So both the Ruels and Terry and Manuel were testing the stack, and he felt that after sideboarding he was at best a 50-50, which is why he said the critical game in this matchup for him was that first game, which he lost, where he felt he was a 75%, had a 75% edge, which seems like a
it seems like if you've got aggro versus medium speed, the medium speed deck is often the favorite, right? If you're just a little bit slower than your opponent, it tends to be where you want to be in Magic metagame terms.
Well, he was clearly unimpressed with the Goblin Guides game 1.
Yeah.
Felt that was where his big edge came from.
And those Goblin Guides are in the sideboard now. They've been replaced with some answers like Oblivion Ring.
Some questions like Bane Slayer Angel.
Yeah. All right, there's Bucher. He's got more Sunday experience than just the Swiss team win, too. He built the deck that Remy Fortier used to win Valencia.
That's right.
I mean, that's really where he first kind of came onto the radar. Bucher had been a sort of a well-known Magic Online player. Manuel B.
You see in the background,
I see the big celebration behind.
Yeah,
there you go. That was David Reitbauer with the sweep over Florian Pills. So Reitbauer through to the semifinals. Reitbauer running Jund, right?
Yes, where he will play the winner of this match.
Yep. So there's a Jund deck waiting in the offing for the winner of this match. Yep. So Jund 1-1 so far.
Some big Knight of the Reliquaries going on here for Manuel. He's got Knight, Honor the Pure. They're starting out at 3-3.
Yeah, we were going to get a Jund deck out of that matchup either way. That was the Jund Mirror. So Reitbauer wins the Jund Mirror 3-0. Florian Pills is gone, and the Austrian is through. It's interesting how we could have Austria winning both the team title and the individual title.
Sure.
All right, the Benedict Klauser-led Team Austria is in the semifinals of the team competition. They're playing off-camera right now. Reitbauer could be the national champ. The other possible double is the Dutch. Bram Snepvangers from the Netherlands, still sitting in good shape, up 2-0 on Cavalieri, and the Dutch team,
led by Kevin Griff,
arguably the most experienced team. I mean, they're young Dutch players. I mean, they're not the Dutch names you've seen before, but I mean, that country, they do such a good job. Everybody helps everybody, and they've just turned out such a steady supply of Magic talent.
If I was going to prototype a Magic community, over a 12 or 15 year arc, it would be the Dutch Magic community. I'm continually impressed by them. Here's Earl the
Miststalker.
His name is Earl.
Lotus Cobra fueled. All right, so Terry So's board is Earl, Lotus Cobra, Bloodbraid Elf, Noble Hierarch, and 4-land. Manuel Bucher has Honor the Pure, Knight of the Reliquary, and another Knight of the Reliquary. So he's currently searching through his deck, using the first Knight.
These get out of hand pretty quickly. Is that a Kabira Crossroads? Yes, it is. Kabira Crossroads, gain 2 life.
Cute. Yeah, that's the one Kabira Crossroads in Bucher's deck.
Terry So's laughing. It's like nice. Make some giant Knight of the Reliquaries, gain some life.
How many lands in his graveyard? 4 lands and counting in Bucher's graveyard.
Those are 7/7 Knight of the Reliquaries. It looks like we're going to get 8/8. And probably a 6/6 Bane Slayer Angel is my guess. Oh, 9/9.
Yep, goes and gets a fetch land. Cracks it, just wants to get an extra land in the graveyard. So 17-19.
And there is a 6/6 Bane Slayer Angel.
Bucher untaps. Basic. Is that Bucher's hand?
Bucher's hand looks like...
Looks like 4 land and a lightning bolt.
That's Terry So's hand.
Oh, that's Terry's hand. Yeah, so no answer for the 6/6 Bane Slayer Angel. Look. He's got Earl. I mean, 5/5 untargetable is usually pretty good, but not against 6/6 first striking Bane Slayer.
And not even close to the biggest creature on the table.
Yeah. All 3 of Bucher's creatures are bigger because those knights are 8/8s?
I believe they're 9/9s.
They're 9/9s now?
9/9s and, you know, just counting.
Here we go again. 3 mana.
Using
4 mana.
Using the
sack
mana
1.
acceleration of...
Yeah, the knight does work out to get you an extra land if you play it, right? Obviously, you tap your land first for mana, then sack it. You get an untapped land. He got a Misty Rain Forest, sacking it for a forest. So 2 lands head to the graveyard in order to give the knights 11/11. Plus, he managed to get essentially tap it for mana.
Booker is at 22, so is at 13.
So here's 5 mana for
Bane Slayer.
another Bane Slayer Angel. Sure looks like Manuel B is going to get on the scoreboard here with a Game 3 win. I mean, there's no sweepers in Terry's deck, right? Yeah, nothing, not even in the board. I mean, Terry has to answer each of those big creatures sort of 1 card at a time.
He has four paths and 2 Oblivion Rings to deal with all the threats.
Right. I mean, potentially he can Bloodbraid into those things, but each one requires its own separate answer. There's no cards that can answer 2 threats, and there's 4 giant monsters on Bucher's side.
And not to be lost in all this is he's thinning his deck from land. So he just, as this game goes on, should it go on somehow,
I don't know how it goes much longer.
he's just drawing into more and more threats because there's just no land left in his deck. He can thin 2 to 4 lands a turn.
Yep. Yeah, Terry ships the turn. And the only question is whether it makes sense to start attacking with the Knights or whether you just attack with Bane Slayers. Is that a Johnny? Wow, a Johnny Goldmane. Everybody is +1/+1. Yeah, Terry scoops them up. There you go. All right, now we head to Game 4. Terry So took the first games, but complete blowout there in Game 3. And Manuel Bucher on the board needs to win 2 more. But, I mean, his deck is clearly capable of some very powerful starts.
Hopefully.
All right, we'll talk through the other matchup. So 2 semis are done. Reitbauer's through, Coimbra's through. The winner of Terry and Manuel will play Reitbauer. Coimbra waits for either Italian William Cavalieri or the Dutchman Bram Snepvangers. They are playing Game 3. Bram's up 2-0, and we can see that Cavalieri has a Ranger and 2 Honors of the Pure against Plated Geopede. Bram has just dispatched a Soul Warden.
Bruce, can we get the overhead from A to talk while these guys shuffle?
He's sending a 5/4.
I think we've only got the
Ranger
one
EO6
camera
in
on
the
that
red
match,
zone
but I
there.
think we can get you the overhead view.
Rich life totals?
There you go.
Hey,
So Plated Geopede against an attacking Ranger. That Ranger is a
5/4.
5/4 thanks to 2 copies of Honor of the Pure.
it's also a 3/3 Soul Warden.
Yeah.
Rich, we need a score for A.
So it sounds like it's 13-15, although I'm not sure which way.
Yeah, it looks like that score is going to change dramatically in a moment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
As an army of 3/3 show
Conqueror's
up.
Pledge. Wow. This is the way William Cavalieri drew his deck up. Soul Warden, Honor the Pure, Honor the Pure. Those tokens,
6
each gain a
3/3s.
life, 6 different 3/3 creatures, and 6 life. Bram just scoops him up here, right? I don't know.
Bram doesn't seem like the scooping type to me.
I agree. Oh, okay. He paths the Soul Warden as a response.
Okay.
That helps.
Booze from
Yeah,
the
booze from the
Italians
Italians in the
audience.
crowd. Love it. That's no fun. Still, 6/3 I don't know how Bram deals with that. His deck has no... There's no mass sweeper type effects, right? There's no earthquake. There's no...
He has to really go bolt by bolt there.
Yeah, it seems like it's individual removal spell by individual removal spell, so... Wow.
So how many Americans do you think are up right now at 4 in the morning to watch this coverage? I'd love to hit us up on Magic Pro Tour on Twitter. Let us know if you're awake and watching.
Sure. Yeah. No, this game is all but over.
There's the scoop.
There's the scoop. All right.
I just wanted to see if you would
Cavalieri
untap.
on the board. Wins game 3. Like Manuel Bucher, he's got to win 2 more if he wants to get through to the semis. But like Manuel Bucher, his deck is capable of just some amazing, amazing situations.
All right.
Meanwhile, we're back on C. All right, Manuel Bucher deals out his 7 cards. He's 22 from Switzerland, spends a lot of time in the States as well. That 84 pro points. I mean, he's been around for a couple years, pro level 7. I mean, this is one of your Pro Tour regulars. It seems like every event he's in contention. It's first individual top 8, but I mean, certainly has been winning money consistently. He's got the team championship and extremely well respected as a deck builder.
Yeah, absolutely. He has 2 Pro Tour top 16s. One where he was playing for his life in the last round, and one where he was playing up. And he was facing a similar situation this weekend. Going into in the last round, he had to fight against Peter Brozek.
Yeah, this was interesting because he could have taken the draw. He was sitting in, it was a kind of situation where, okay, if everybody draws, somebody's going to miss on tiebreakers. We're not sure who it'll be. It's kind of close. It depends how these other matches go. And Manuel said, no, I don't want to draw myself into 9th. I'm going to play. And he did play, and he won. So he's here. There you see Terry So. And ironically enough, Terry was in exactly the same situation. Also could have drawn into a tiebreaker situation. He said, no, I'm going to play, and I'm going to win. And he beat Bram, who got in anyway. Bram was a point ahead. So Bram managed to wind himself in the tiebreakers, got through. So Terry's 22. He's from Malaysia. He lives in Kuala Lumpur. 116 pro points. This is another guy. He's Hall of Fame eligible at that. He's not yet on the ballot. Will be when it's his time. 3rd Pro Tour top 8, so he's been around. He's got a top 8 at a Worlds previously. He's got an invitational win. I mean, very good player.
3rd place in Nagoya.
And it looks like Game 4 is underway. Bucher has led with a double hierarch draw.
A little bit of a not a fast start here for Terry.
No, yeah, Terry 2 turns and nothing, right? No, here's turn 3 in double forest.
Yeah, that is not a Woolly
Yeah,
Thoktar.
You can't cast Woolly Thoktar with that mana, so...
I'm not even certain that he has Woolly Thoktar still in his deck.
Hierarch attacks. Sure. 18. Terry's probably happy, right? It means no Bane Slayer. Honor the Pure for Manuel, which does nothing to help Noble Hierarch. All right, Terry's slow draw. Looks like a fetch land. So 19 to 17. Yeah, very slow draw for Terry. Not the fastest draw for Manuel, but we'll see, right? He spent his time. He's got the mana edge, that's for sure. There's Bloodbraid Elf.
Colossal Might is an interesting card in Terry's deck that I don't think we saw in any other decks really.
So that's a 7-power Bloodbraid Elf.
No, it's actually just a 3. The Colossal Might has to resolve before the Bloodbraid
Elf. Oh.
It just went on the bottom.
Oh yeah, Colossal Might does nothing there. No creature to target.
Looks like lots of people are awake and watching. Oh, we definitely appreciate you guys setting your alarm clocks back in the States.
Or just staying up.
Or just staying up and drafting all night.
That's what I'll be doing tonight, that's for sure. I have the 6:30 a.m. flight out, so.
I have the early flight. It's definitely going to go back to the hotel, pack. Draft all night.
Till it's time to get in a cab.
Sleep on the plane and hopefully be on some sort of normal schedule when I'm home.
That's the plan. All right.
The noble hierarch
Bucher,
beats
1,
are
2,
over.
3,
He's
4, 5. There's the Bane Slayer.
There's just no colors on Terry So's side of the board that can deal with that. I mean, the only way with that mana he has in play, he has to Bloodbraid into Oblivion Ring here. Oh, there's a Jungle Shrine. This is white mana.
That'll be his first white mana. Just an awful draw for Terry So. Unable to do anything until Bloodbraid, and then Bloodbraid whiffs. Bane Slayer with 2 Noble Hierarchs and an Honor of the Pure. That is indeed 8 power and life linking. So 23 to 9. Steward of Valoron. All right, Terry, right now you need a Bane Slayer answer. Finally got his white mana. Has he been holding an Oblivion Ring? Holding an Ajani, maybe? Looks like both. So, okay, which way do you deal with it? There's an Ajani, there's an Earl, there's an Oblivion Ring, and there's a Path. So 3 different Angel answers now that he finally got his white mana.
He's going to play Earl.
Plays Earl. Okay, and then he leaves up Path mana. Makes sense. It's the only way for him to sort of do 2 things that turn. What was that? Oh, a Johnny Goldmane for Manuel Bucher. Presumably, everyone's going to get +1/+0, or +1/+1 permanently, and Vigilance. Now the question is, how many attack? Just the Bane Slayer?
Just the Bane Slayer.
So it gets to 9 power, which would be lethal, but there's the path. Oh, there's Brave the Elements! Brave the Elements defends the Bane Slayer, and I think that's 9, right?
So
Hierarch,
like
Honor the Pure, the Johnny counter, 9 power. That's
6,
ball game.
7, 8,
Terry's
9.
like, really? He thought he was fine. He had the path. Nope, there he nods. We are going to Game 5. All right, Manuel Bucher has come back. He's taken Game 3. He's taken Game 4. And they're going to play 1 game to see who goes to the semis.
A little bit of a smile on Menu's face.
So, and Bucher headed to Game 5. Cavalieri and Snepvangers are in Game number 4. They've just started. There you see, Cavalieri has got a Soul Warden. Is that Goblin Guide for Bram?
Goblin Guide for Bram.
Second Soul Warden for Cavalieri. So both players currently at 19. I think we hold C and move all the cameras back to A for now. Yeah, we're way ahead of schedule. So hold C and cameras over to A.
So we're not going to let Manu and Terry start without you here.
Oh yeah.
We'll
definitely bring a Coimbra to Game 5. But meanwhile, let's watch this Game 4. All right, Snepvangers is up 2-1. Cavalieri, though, he's got the double Soul Warden draw, which should buy him a lot of time. Okay, Goblin Guide puts a fetch land into Cavalieri's hand. Oh, there's Path for the Goblin Guide. So Goblin Guide gives him land, gives him some land back. But this start
But you're happy.
definitely has to favor the Italian.
Great.
Yeah, this is not the explosive draws we saw from Bram in...
Well, it still could be. It's too soon to tell, right? All the explosiveness that we saw came from the Rangers. Ooh, go? Go is okay. Now I'm with you. Not the explosive start Bram wants. Soul Warden's head for the red zone, plinking away. And a White Knight.
Game 2.
Nice solid attacker, nice solid blocker, nice solid 2 life.
Looks like a Ranger Vios just came off the top of the deck for Bram. I don't know if he was holding one previous to that. It looks like he was. No, actually he was not. He just drew that. William gets to, you know, 1-for-1 removal if with this kind of slow draw from Bram, his spot removal, which suddenly there's an abundance of in white. You can sit there and go, all right, you got a Bane Slayer Angel, I'm gonna pick it off. Play the Bane Slayer Angel here or the Ranger of Eos if you are Bram. Try to bait out a path first.
Are we having lunch after this? Oh, that's good.
Well, he plays his fetch line and cracks it. That'll get him a 5th land.
He's got to play Bane Slayer, right?
There really are a lot of people watching this overnight, huh? You got some people on the west coast of the U.S. that just stayed up. We started, it was like 1 in the morning,
sure.
Right? Not that bad. Get the people that had the discipline to go to bed at 9, get up at 3. There is Bane Slayer. There's Path. Yeah, that's... I think Bram has to go for it there. I think it's right to play Bane Slayer, in part because, I mean, if his opponent's got the Path, sure, maybe you can bait it out with Ranger, but he's losing, right? He's falling behind on life. He's falling behind on the board. If Cavalieri also has the Path, okay, probably just lose, but let's, Bram's hoping he's in the scenarios where there's no easy Angel answer, and then Angel could potentially single-handedly swing the game. And now he can still play out his Rangers, right? Now he's got a little more mana in play, so the Rangers have more impact on the board. Seems like the right way to play it.
There's a Ranger from Cavalieri, probably resulting in 2 more Soul Wardens.
Well, they're the only 1-drops in his deck, unless he brought the Step Lynxes back in.
Just in case you have the second one.
Yeah. That is Cavalieri's plan for this matchup. Rangers for Soul Wardens. I just want all my Soul Wardens.
But you don't have the second one, do you?
I could.
That's true.
It's here.
Our spotter says that there does, in fact, appear to be a Step Lynx back in the deck.
Yeah, Step Lynx seems fine. Yeah. So you don't run yourself out of 1-drops.
So, 22? Yeah?
Yes.
I'm not sure that multiple Step Lynxes would be fine as well.
12.
Get in for 4 while we're at it.
Good job.
Okay. So now we're going to see... Oh, another Bane Slayer Angel.
Look what's here.
All right, Bane Slayer number 2.
The Lone Dutch... Oh, that's Marine Lybaert applauding. Oh.
Was that Conqueror's Pledge?
That is Conqueror's Pledge.
How many Soul Wardens do you play first?
I'm getting excited.
All of them?
I'm playing
Wow.
I mean, he's got the 5th land, right? He could Conqueror's Pledge here, or he could go Soul Warden, which seems better.
He might go
Soul Warden number 3. Okay, that's 3 life.
6.
Soul Warden number 4. 4 more life. 7 for the
29.
turn.
Yes.
3 more life. White Knight, that's 4 more life.
4 more life. Sorry. 4 plus 3 plus 2. 9 life. 33 total for Cavalieri, and does play a fetch land. All right. Bram gets look at this board. It is Bane Slayer Angel versus White Knight, Soul Warden, Ranger of Eos, other White Knight, other Soul Warden, and yet the 4th Soul Warden. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys against 1 Bane Slayer. I mean, Bane Slayer's good enough that I don't feel like the game is over. But yeah, Bane Slayer loses this race, and that's before the Conqueror's Pledge. Crazy.
Mind if I do this? At least have something to do.
Oh, did Bram say go? Leaves Bane Slayer on defense? Oh, is Cavalieri just cracking his fetch land to give himself something to do?
Representing Path again.
Oh, sure. Okay. He does like to represent Path, doesn't he? Especially when he doesn't have it.
17.
So that Bane Slayer hit drops up to 27.
And Bram picks up 5 life. To 17.
Ranger from Bram.
Mm-hmm. What do you get? Step links, Bushwhacker?
17 to.
I don't think he has enough red for double Bushwhacker, so.
I think he's going to get 2 step links. Yeah.
Like the sentiment from the Twitter. There may not be an American to cheer for, but it's still Magic. So they're up.
Yep.
And that's 12 life back for Cavalieri.
Indeed.
You have plenty of lands if you play that now. Ah. My poor knights. You want to raise me?
All right, Bram desperately trying to build his board. That fetch land is kind of nice. It allows the step links to play defense, right? They can block his 2/3s. I mean, Bram playing to... He's actually, I think, winning on board. I think. 3/2 Ranger can potentially attack. Nobody can...
Sure.
It'll trade with anything Bram wants to trade it for.
Probably just trade with a Ranger. Or
I think that's right. Yeah,
sure.
trade Ranger for Ranger. Okay.
And I
Bram,
would like 24 life, please.
There it is.
4 times 6?
4 times 6. Yes, 4 times 6 is 24.
I would like to go up to 63, please.
Wow. 64 life from Cavalieri. That's going to be a little rough for the Bushwhacker deck. I don't think he can attack.
It's a long wait for your Bane Slayer.
Next turn.
Your turn.
When he attacks, he goes to 22.
I mean, he loses 2 guys and deals 4 damage. There's no point in attacking there. He'd lose both his White Knights. All he'd do is get in for the 4 Soul Wardens. All right. Can Bram actually deal with this?
I want to go back to Cell Game 5 and hold this one after they shot goals.
So some removal in hand for Bram.
Yeah, Bram's got a Path and he's got a Burst Lightning. But there's 12 creatures on the other side of the table. Like, you can't play 1-for-1 against 12 creatures. I mean, what he can do is, yeah, keep attacking away with Bane Slayer. I mean,
off those Soul Wardens.
he's gaining 5 life there. He can start to pick off 2. He gets to block 2. What does he take? 3, 6, 7, 8. He takes 10. He takes 10. I mean, if Cavalieri is completely out of gas, Bram's still got a chance here. I mean, something like Honor the Pure would be fatal.
Here's a Ranger of Eos. I'm gonna go get my 1 step.
Yeah, Ranger Vios, not the most. I mean, it's 4 life. I mean, Bram can potentially kill Soul Ward in his response. That's not crazy. Yeah, I think I would kill Soul Ward in his response here.
Kill 2 Soul Wardens as a response here?
Maybe.
Again 3.
No, it kills 1 Soul Warden, so holding on to his path.
Snepvangers 22, Cavalieri 61.
Did he bring more than
Cavalieri
1 step links?
up
Oh, no,
to
he has more than 1.
61. Okay, 2 step linkses.
Yep.
Cavalieri's at 61.
Kinda. They jump. They jump.
Yes.
How close are we getting to Conqueror's Pledge with Kicker? I guess not yet.
Unfortunately. Well, no.
Many path to exiles from now. And 3 more.
64.
64 life for Cavalieri.
So, you're on 22.
Yes.
Yeah, now
Is he
I
gonna
think
crack just to get him to break the fetch land?
I think you attack with everybody, right? You deal 9 damage to a player who's at 22. You lose both your White Knights, but you plow through the fetch lane, which means the step links can't block effectively next turn. I think you smash. I mean, and Bram has to decide whether he wants to pick off White Knights or Soul Wardens.
William's certainly sizing it up.
I smash here.
It can wait 1 turn. Your turn.
He says no? I mean, if he says no, then he's just risking, like, Bane Slayer. It just gets that much harder. Huh. Well, I guess he would deal 9, gain 5. I don't know about this play. I think he wants to crash through those. Like, getting the fetch land off the board is actually pretty powerful. It means all the future attacks are profitable.
Yeah, Bram is not going to just crack that fetch land for no good reason.
Right,
He
of
doesn't
course.
need the
Ooh,
mana.
Bram drew Elspeth. That can either create more blockers or turn Bane Slayer into an 8-power.
Which would just take 8 turns.
Not necessarily.
8 turns to kill William from here.
I mean, it shows you how good Bane Slayer Angel is, right? This game is not over.
No,
and the only reason it's not over is the Bane Slayer. Like, Bram's life total keeps marching higher and higher. And if he plays Elspeth, he'll almost certainly trigger William to attack Elspeth, right?
I think so.
So, I mean, Elspeth also buys Bram a turn. Seems like you make a 1/1 potential blocker, buy yourself a turn.
He might not. Can he not? Can he just not play it here? Yeah, that's what he does.
Declines?
Yep.
62.
Yes.
Snepvangers 27. Cavalieri 62.
The other comment we keep seeing on the Twitter feed is people who like the Twitter feed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anybody who's listening who's not following Magic Pro Tour, I mean, it's worth grabbing a random Twitter account just to follow the live coverage during the event. I think it feels like just a change in the way it's possible to follow these events now. Instead of having the time lag and sort of waiting for the one feature match, you get like little nuggets of everything that's going on every round.
For all the technological advances of video and podcast and live streaming and the immediate updates of what's going on 4 or 5 different tables down the last 3 rounds of a Pro Tour is just gripping.
All right, Cavalieri sizing up the attack. Does he go for it now? He's got 2 more attackers. Bram's board hasn't changed. Bram can still pick off 2, but this time he did play a land, so this time Cavalieri gets to smash
for 4 more this time than he was last time.
I mean, it sort of depends who Bram decides to block, but yeah.
No, 2 more.
There's 2 more attackers.
1 Snepvangers is not eligible.
Oh, he declined. So he's not attacking with the White Knights.
Right. He only wants trades or tokens.
Not willing to let Steplings eat a White Knight.
And a big castle.
He says you can trade with my Stepling, or you can bounce off my Steplings, you can trade with my Ranger, or you can pick off tokens. All of which requires you to crack a fetch land. Interesting. What do you think of this attack? Is that the right way to do it?
I like it better than the White Knight attack where you just lose 2 guys.
26.
Yeah.
Yep, so Bram does crack his fetch land.
I mean, the 2 White Knights back also, let him eat a Steplings if necessary.
Yes.
You go to 17, correct?
Yes.
Snepvangers is at 17. Cavalieri is at 62.
All right.
We get the score updates in our ear, and I have to just laugh as you hear 17 to 62.
And Bane Slayer on taps. I think 1762 is actually the last time we had a top 8 without a U.S. or Japanese player.
Yeah, we really had to go back and fact check that.
Yeah, 77 events in the history of the tour, and every one has had either an American or a Japanese player.
It was also interesting watching the different reporters sort of work their way back through the coverage and ask about. I mean, like, is Nate Clark an American? Who's this Paul McCabe guy?
Can't say it's a boring match.
All right, 2257. Bane Slayer doing a good job of keeping Bram's life total high enough to be relevant.
Another fetch land.
Another fetch land. All right, the Steplingses are still effective blockers. Bram can't actually win this game, can he?
It doesn't seem impossible. There's certainly more Bane Slayers in his deck.
Yeah, second Bane Slayer would totally. He's still holding Elspeth.
Yeah, well, Elspeth's essentially a fog for him at this point, right?
A fog and a token.
Okay.
Yeah.
A soldier.
Sounds good. So game 3.
Game 3. Puts Cavalieri back up to 60.
That's easier to kill than you.
22 to 60.
Around 22.
Yes.
8. Looks like a Knight of the White Orchid for Cavalieri, which gives him two,
Yeah, would
potentially represent 2 lands this turn.
It does give him a land. It triggers.
Yeah. And he plays another.
Okay.
And he's certainly not going to let Elspeth sit there, so he's got to send everybody in here. Question.
He's got to go smash Elspeth, right?
No,
Yeah.
60, yeah? Yeah. I wrote it already. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's- Magical Lie made me such a bad player.
Cavalieri goes up to
You shouldn't
63
play the
there.
cards if you keep forgetting them.
Really?
You could still take them out for the next game.
Lots of people on Twitter just cheering for a kicked Conqueror's Pledge. It's like the center of their bingo board, maybe.
Has he played another land yet?
So Cavalieri has White Knight, Knight of the White Orchid, Steplings, Ranger Vios, 3 Soul Wardens, and 4 Soldier Tokens. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different creatures. And there's actually a Gargoyle Castle hiding over there that could potentially add yet another creature to the board. Cavalieri trying to figure out if he's supposed to attack. Pretty sure he needs to. He really wants to pick off Elspeth before it starts giving Bram a bunch of blockers. Okay, there's the second land for the turn. 1 for the Knight of the White Orchid, plus his land drop for the turn. So those are 4 power Steplingses. So now what? How many does he need to attack with? He knows that Bram has a fetch land, so the Steplingses turn into 2/3 blockers. Of course the Steplingses are going to eat creatures. There's also a 1/1 token on Bram's side that can trade off somebody. But yeah, Cavalieri's pretty much got to attack Elspeth, or he just starts falling, you know, or he allows Bram to start catching up on the board.
Too far from killing you, but it's still fine.
Bram just looks over.
There's a path to exile sitting at the very, very bottom of William Cavalieri's graveyard. It
Yeah.
killed a Goblin Guide.
Hmm.
Do you think he would like that path to exile back at this moment?
Be able to point it at Bane Slayer.
Elspeth.
All right, attacking Elspeth with 4 tokens, the Ranger and the 2 Steplingses. So Elspeth is definitely...
So 1 token will probably just chomp a
In
Stepling.
theory, Bram could keep Elspeth alive, but only if he makes really bad blocks. Right, he could in theory block, chump a Steplings,
Oh, he's not
trade
gonna chump
with
it.
Ranger.
Did he play the second land?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
so it is a
4
chump on the
power.
Steplingses.
I don't think that's the right attack, but I mean, Cavalieri is offering Bram the option to keep Elspeth alive by chump blocking twice.
Gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right play. Seems like he either eats 3. I think you eat 3 tokens. Right, trade token for token and have the 2 Steplingses eat 2 tokens.
And then just let your Elspeth go.
And then Elspeth, let Elspeth
just
go.
fog.
I think that's how I'd play it. What would you do?
Potentially trade the step links for a ranger. Just clear something off the board.
But, I mean, you're clearing a token. Is it that much different?
Just a little more power.
But you keep the... But having a blocker next turn, sure.
Sure.
You can kill the ranger, but at the cost of being down a blocker.
Down a blocker, down a life. That's fair.
I think I'd rather...
Just eat 2 tokens.
I mean, you're playing saves 2 life. Oh, no, it's Elspeth. It doesn't even save any life.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It's like Elspeth is... Unless you're willing to chump twice, which I think is a mistake, Elspeth's dead.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think you want to pick off the token and keep your Steplinks alive. I mean, hypothetically, he could also just decline to crack the fetch land here.
Yeah.
But that seems wrong. All right, so I think that's a token block. Yes,
Yep.
it is. So blocks token, cracks the fetch land so the Steplinks just get some power, and Elspeth down.
It does 1 point of damage with
From the
fetch
cracking
land.
the fetch land, sure. So Bram's at 21. And Gargoyle.
We don't have it, yeah?
Cavalieri picks now to make a 3/4 Gargoyle
66.
and gain 3 life. Is there an advantage to doing it there?
I'm not sure. Doesn't want to forget.
All right, Bram Snepvangers is up 2 games to 1. Wants that spot in the semifinals. He had to watch his opponent resolve Conqueror's Pledge with 4 Soul Wardens in play, and yet somehow he's still in this game, plugging away. He's got another fetch land so that his Steplinks can block and kill stuff. He's got Bane Slayer attacking, so he's back up to 26 again. Now, Cavalieri's at 61. That's the bad news. But, I mean, this is still a game. Uh-oh. That's 5 mana.
Kick Burst Lightning.
Kicked Burst Lightning to kill the Gargoyle. Fair enough.
Not quite sure.
See Manuel Bucher looking over from the other game. He is waiting to play his game 5. We'll bring you that as soon as this one's over.
Oh.
There's Honor the Pure.
It was better than
Honor the
24,
Pure.
so
A little bit late, but still amazing. Now those White Knights that Cavalieri held back, wasn't willing to attack with everybody and get those picked off by the Steplinks.
And
Now
the
they're
Knight of the White
3
Orchid.
power first strikers. So's the Knight of the White Orchid. Ranger is 3 toughness. So he's lining up an attack. Looks like all
not
4
play
of the
away.
3 toughness creatures are going to attack. So that's 3 first strikers plus a 4/3 ranger. So what's the play if you're Bram Snepvangers? I mean, Steplinks can double block ranger, crack fetch land. You effectively trade 1 for the ranger. He has no good block on the first strikers.
it was
His
1.4
hand, I
for
believe,
Bushwhacker.
does have a path.
Maybe I should have risked it.
Yeah, he does have a path in hand. Might need to pick off one of the first strikers with path to exile here.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that's exactly what he decides to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knight of the White Orchid goes away.
Trade a Steplink, which was never really getting in, right?
I think you trade Steplinks for ranger now.
10, 16.
What would happen with that path if he'd attacked with his Steplinks?
Yeah, it was problems.
Well, they're 0-1 Steplinks.
I understand.
Oh, that's funny.
They're 1/2
They would trigger.
Steplinkses.
They're
And if
1/2s and they would
thinks there's
trigger with a path coming.
He thinks there's a path.
That's true. Why not get in there?
Please.
I mean, you risk giving Bram a good block. Bram chose not to block anything.
Yeah.
So if he's going to not block anything, he would clearly have blocked the 1/2 Steplinkses. Ooh, Bram draws Ranger Vios. Very relevant card. Bane Slayer keeps on keeping on. Snepvangers at 21. There's the Ranger.
Gain 3.
59.
Yeah, it is 3 for
Gain
Cavalieri.
3. Gain 3.
Yeah, it's not like Bram wins this race, though. I mean, what Bram needs to do is block effectively enough.
It's a Goblin Guide and a Steplinks, it looks like.
Yeah. That's what he's sizing up, Goblin Guide and Steplinks. one of the guys following us on Twitter were doing a Soul Warden drinking game.
Oh.
They called it off after the Conqueror's Pledge.
265.
Yes.
Okay.
Your turn.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that is the remaining Bane Slayer Angel in Bram's deck. He only has 2 after sideboard, and one of them has been Path to Exiled, so...
Oh, got it.
Oh, he got 2 step links. There we go.
Yeah, 2 step links. So with that fetch land, it's he's got some potential blockers. Doing his best to stabilize on the board.
Nice.
Oh my! Got to look at William Cavalieri's hand, and there's Brave the Elements in it. Attacks with everyone.
I'm getting tired.
Is he gonna let him block?
He's gonna let him block. Isn't it lethal if he says? Did he play a land or no? 1, 2,
7,
3,
8,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think it was lethal.
Okay, I don't think he played a
No,
land.
it's like 19 or so.
No.
Yeah, if he'd had a land, then the path would have been lethal. I mean, he could give everybody pro-white. They can't be blocked. Instead, he's going to let Bram line up a bunch of blocks and then blow them out. That's this way. Which seems like it should work.
Right, if he double step links as the first strikers, or...
You have 1 card, no?
Yes, 1 card. But it's good.
That's in
To Bram, willing to trade Ranger for Ranger. That one totally makes sense. But now what does he do with his 4 step links? He's got 4 2/3 blockers. Seems like...
I'll block the Soul Wardens.
Yeah, block the Soul Wardens. 3 Soul Wardens and a token, so he in theory wins all of these fights. He's of course got to crack his fetch land to do it.
20.
So Bram's lining up a block where he wins everything, but he's got to be suspicious. Like Cavalieri has been not attacking, not attacking, not attacking. And yeah. Here is Brave the Elements.
Brave the Elements is
You
just
can easily guess what card.
a 1 for 1 here.
Yeah, it means that the only creature on Bram's side that dies is the Ranger.
So...
But he does get in for
Leave.
Exactly.
6,
3, 6, 7, 8.
8 damage.
3, 6, 7, 8 to you.
Yep.
So 8 damage, dropping Bram to 12, and doesn't lose anybody. And plows through that fetch land.
Right.
So 65 to 12. Bram will keep plugging away with Bane Slayer, but I mean, all it's done is neutralize the Soul Warden life and keep Bram alive, which is plenty, but he's not actually making progress toward winning the game.
Manuel Bucher sitting in the background, he's just thinking, please someone win this match so I can start playing.
It's true. And if Cavalieri wins, which seems likely, then we'll have a game 5.
Can we take a break after this? 2 minutes? Okay. Thank you.
Bram's
Bram
got a
is thinking
burst
about
lightning.
whether or not he wants to play a land or somehow hold it for some mega ultra turn
Yeah.
that I don't think exists for his deck right now.
Bram's Bane Slayer, he's going to be at 17. He has 4 blockers. So 2, 4, 6.
He's just cracking back with everybody.
Wow. Played a land and cracked. He kept the Bane Slayer on defense.
Yep.
59.
Yes.
Interesting.
Right. The first strike of the Bane Slayer means he
Yeah,
gains
he still
the
gains
life.
the life. Oh, off the top. Journey to nowhere. Journey. You want the step links? No, thank you. I'll take Bane Slayer. I will attack with everyone. I gotta believe this is lethal. Yep.
Wow,
There
William
you
Cavalieri
go.
forces
William
a game 5.
Cavalieri coming all the way back, wins game 3, wins game 4. He has forced a game 5, and we will bring you that game 5 right after the other game 5 between Terry So and Manuel Bucher.
Send us to the other table, please.
All right, Bucher v. So. They're tied at 2 apiece. Terry So won the first 2 with his Naya aggro deck. His brother built it. Terry didn't do a lot of play testing, but he's always been a great player. His brother was on the Malaysian national team. He's like, all right, I'm going to Worlds. What am I playing, bro? He said, here, Naya aggro. Built it for you. Willie Thoctars. It's awesome. All right, Terry's been piloting it well. Got up 2 games, but on the other side, the former world team champion from Switzerland, Manuel Bucher. Both players lead with Noble Hierarch. Terry So plays Lotus Cobra, potentially very explosive next turn, but no second land from Terry. Hierarch attacks. Manuel totally willing to trade it for Lotus Cobra here. It's a 1-2 attacking Hierarch. Terry thinks about the block, but declines. Interesting in that, well, would Terry not play a land on turn 2 in there? Like, he didn't play a second land, but like if you're better off holding it, right? Yeah, fetch land. Fetch land, Lotus Cobra. Boom, all right. There's an extra mana. 1-2 for a Thoctar, and the Cobra attacks.
17.
And he's not going to crack his fetch land. He's going to save it to trigger Lotus Cobra again next turn. So, Hierarch, Lotus Cobra, Thoctar is the curve from Terry So. Manuel's got a Myria Angel on his turn 3.
Has to play it without being able to play a land on the same turn.
Ooh, look at Terry's hand.
Terry's
Tons,
hand
oh
is
my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Oblivion Ring, Path, and Bane Slayer Angel. What does he do here? 1, 2, 3. He cannot play the Bane Slayer. Can only get to 4 mana.
I believe he's going to...
Yeah, I think you Oblivion Ring the Myria Angel because you don't want a Path.
He can Oblivion Ring the Myria Angel and then still have a Plains up.
Yeah.
To path the next threat.
Sounds right. Well. Yeah, the white cards just look so good in this top 8. White has the card advantage. It has among the best card advantage of the format with Ranger Vios. White has arguably the best removal in the format with Oblivion Ring and Path. Maybe not the best removal, but I mean, White's got a lot of utility.
Interesting, though. He doesn't...
Yep, there's Oblivion Ring.
He chooses to tap his Noble Hierarch.
Well, he has to.
That's the Ziggurat can't tap.
It's a Ziggurat. Doesn't do any of these spells.
So he can't have the mana open.
Right, no path mana.
I mean, for the...
What do you think of Ziggurat? Seems a little loose to you?
It seems a little loose.
Sometimes it's great. You can get away with it, but it does seem a little risky because situations just like this. There's so many spells that Terry wants to play.
And it's just so
whatever.
critical.
His draw is working out just fine.
Yeah, I don't think he has any... I mean, he's pretty happy to play paths on his turn here.
Sure. All right. Terry has 7 power worth of attackers. He's got the Thoctar and the Lotus Cobra. Manuel played turn 3 a Myria Angel. But Bucher's all the way down to I think 9 now with cracking that fetch land.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he got? Gets a forest. I mean, Bane Slayer is the most powerful thing he can do here, right? But
we know.
Yeah, with that path.
And another Oblivion Ring.
What's his hand? Ooh, that's interesting. He has double Bane Slayer, a Myria Angel, so he actually declined. He could have gone a Myria Angel and 2 guys and decided to go for Bane Slayer instead. That's really scary. Because now he's going to get Angel probably pathed.
I do like that you can get mana off your Ziggurat with the Lotus Cobra.
Do you think Bane Slayer is better there than a Myria Angel with
sure.
2 guys?
I'm not certain.
Making 3 blockers seems good there because now he has no blocker. And Smash, there's 7 power.
He is at 2.
He's at 2. All right. Bucher gets a Plains. We know he's got a second Bane Slayer.
So he can play a Myria Angel this turn, get 2 blockers.
Or, I mean, his play, if he thinks Bane Slayer is better, right?
Another Bane Slayer here.
And Terry's going to remove it and kill him. Right?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
I mean, Terry's draw was pretty good here. He's like, reasonably quick Thoktar, and then a handful of removal.
This is why Manuel was really nervous about the sideboarding.
Oh, yeah, you talked about it, the sideboarding
so
games.
So much removal for...
Kabira Crossroads, is that good enough? It actually is good enough to keep him alive. So now there's Bane Slayer. Now the removal's not lethal, right? Because Hierarch can chump.
Correct.
Can chump Thoktar. The one Kabira Crossroads does help. All right, another land. It triggers the Cobra. And, ooh, Brave the Elements defends the Bane Slayer, but there's a path as a response.
And
there's the hand.
Terry So.
Terry So, wow. Terry So is through to the semis, 3-2. Crazy. Terry So looks very happy. Wow.
We watched Terry So win a pretty spectacular quarterfinal match in Nagoya where he was playing against Frank Karsten.
Yeah, that's true. The bluff. Wow. All right. So we got one game left in these quarterfinals. It'll be between Bram Snepvangers and William Cavalieri. Hello.
Hey.
That was just a blowout. That was crazy. We will, of course, be bringing you Game 5 between Snepvangers and Cavalieri. They have stepped away to use the restroom before Game 5, so we'll talk to you for a couple minutes. We'll definitely bring you down there as soon as those guys are ready to play. There you get a good look at Cavalieri's resume. He's 27. He's from Italy. You know, he's been around the Pro Tour for a couple years. He won Nationals last year. He really turned the standard format on its ear with a black-red tokens deck that became one of the really innovative format-defining decks. Level 5 Pro Tour player. He's a gravy trainer, and now here he is in his first top 8.
Yeah, works in video game design.
That's right.
He's this guy's gaming for fun, gaming for work. All he does is play games.
And there's Bram
Snepvangers.
Snepvangers.
Who just plays games. Bram Snepvangers.
He plays them all.
Yeah.
He's always got a German board game under his arm. Usually Sunday he's looking for somebody to play Agricola with. This time still playing Magic. 33. Fourth top 8, spanning most of the last decade.
The player with the most pro points of someone not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 284 coming in. So he's guaranteed 12 here. He cracked 300.
Yeah,
he and Akeda are the two. Akeda also right around the 300 pro point mark on the ballot.
Yeah.
How good is Bram Snepvangers?
I mean, Bram is a player who's sort of been uneven. I mean, he's floated around the middle of a lot of events. He's kept himself on the Pro Tour. I mean, certainly we've seen that. I mean, he's kept himself
and he needed this, right? He was in danger of actually falling off the gravy train. Came in with 12 pro points, so he needed to top 16 in order to pick up a year's worth of invites. Well, he's got them. Not going anywhere. He'll be on tour all year next year. He's at least, let's see, with the 12 here, he's at least level 4, which gets him all the invites he needs for the year. We'll see how far up he gets. He's got one game for the semifinals. He's probably feeling a lot better 2 games ago.
And we find, again, we're going to find ourselves talking about another player and Hall of Fame ballots for...
It's true. There you see Bram and Cavalieri. They have returned to the arena. Got your Planeswalker symbol, got your arena for gladiatorial combat. David Reitbauer smashed Florian Pills 3-0. That was the Jund mirror, and the Austrian Jund player is through to the semis, where he will be taking on Terry So. The Malaysian, the only non-European in this top 8. This top 8 was 7 Europeans plus Terry So. Terry wins 3-2 over Manuel Bucher, so So's through to the semis, and there wasn't a whole lot Manuel could do there, right? I mean, I think he could have, in theory, survived that last turn by leaving Hierarch available as a chump blocker, but it seems totally right to defend his Bane Slayer.
It's possible
so he taps the Hierarch for the Brave the Elements. Terry had the path as a response, and that was it. I mean, he had no longer had the chump blocker, and that was the ball game.
He's obviously under pressure, but I mean, if he plays that first Emiri Angel before...
Oh, that's the fork that could have gone differently.
Before the Bane Slayer.
That's fair.
He plays it, he can get 1 or 2 guys.
He gets 2 guys with fetch land. He chose to play a Bane Slayer on, I believe it's turn 4. What he could have done, he played Emiri Angel on turn 3, and it gets killed. It gets journeyed to nowhere, which is unfortunate. He had the whole fetch land ready to make 2 guys. So now he's got access to 5 mana, and his hand is Bane Slayer, Emiri Angel. Right. And did he have the Brave the Elements at that point, or did he draw it?
I think he drew that.
I think he drew it. He draws it later. So he can tap everything for Bane Slayer, or he can tap 4 for Emiri Angel, play a fetch land, crack a fetch land, so that maybe So's got the answer for a Mirror Angel, but if so, at least there's 2 1/1s, well, one of which trades with Lotus Cobra. Like the 1/1 blocker is very relevant in that it can trade with the Lotus Cobra, and now you can decide, okay, do I want to chump the Thoktar with the other one? Probably.
And it's not like So doesn't have to deal with the Mirror Angel.
Right, so I believe So has to deal with the Mirror Angel, or here comes another 1/1 next turn. It seems like, yeah, I think I like the Mirror Angel play better there.
Yeah, you're just not giving him credit for having enough removal at that point.
I mean, Bane Slayer,
I mean, it's obviously an abnormal hand, right? I mean, it was a very removal-heavy hand for the deck.
Right,
Yeah,
but
thank you.
why not? I'm not sure what the advantage is of playing Bane Slayers first. Like that Mirror Angel, Manuel winds up dying with that Mirror Angel in his hand.
Right.
Whereas, like, he's not going to die to the removal-heavy hand. If he goes a Mirror Angel first,
Right.
Now he's trading with Lotus Cobra, he's picking off. He has time to go Angel, Bane Slayer, Bane Slayer.
And that last Bane Slayer will stick.
And the last Bane Slayer will stick, precisely. Brave the Elements. It turns out he needs Brave the Elements to defend it because it's a crazy heavy removal hand. But I mean that's how it would have worked out. He would have more life, and the last Bane Slayer would stick, which could totally swing the game. Now it's just Thoktar racing Bane Slayer. Bane Slayer wins that fight, wins that race.
I mean, the Lotus Cobra gets in what, twice more?
No, it never gets in. It trades with a token.
No, I'm saying the way the game played out.
Oh, the way the game played out, Lotus Cobra got in for 2 or 3 hits.
Yeah.
And he died. Yeah, that was the damage. Plus, you throw in the chump block from the other Angel on Thoktar. He saves like 11 life by playing the Angel first, which is long enough to get that Bane Slayer to stick. Interesting. I mean, at the end, I think Bucher played it right. He's got to he taps his only blocker for the Brave the Element, but I mean, the odds of Terry having the 4th removal spell and having it be instant speed path are relatively small. Yeah, the fork was on turn 4. Good match. I mean, Manuel's a great player. Definitely a judgment call.
Oh, I mean, I don't think he just sort of, rolled a die and made a play. Right? I'm sure he thought about it and had a plan, and obviously in hindsight, this is how it worked out.
Yeah, he clearly wanted to stick a Bane Slayer quickly because he's worried about Terry playing out more guys. If Terry just goes guy, I mean, it's easy for us because we can see Terry's hand is a million removal spells. I think he's definitely nervous. If Terry is going to go guy, he really needs to stick a Bane Slayer. Interesting. And it's a judgment call. I'm sure Manuel's kicking himself now.
Talk to him about it at lunch.
Well, he's not going to be interested in talking about that, I think. I mean, it's one of those where, okay, now that you know what the hands were, it's really easy to see, yeah, that path would have worked out much better, but a lot harder to know on the spot. So here we are. We're off in Game 5. The local hero, the one Italian in this top 8 here in Rome, William Cavalieri, has trying to come all the way back from an 0-2 deficit against Bram Snepvangers' Boris Bushwhacker deck. Bram getting to go first for what I think might be the first time in the no, he went first. He went first last game, but teetering peaks into step link, so gets in for 4 on turn 2. Looks like Bram's hand has Burst Lightning. Can't quite see from the glare. I see a Fetch Land, a Sky Fisher, ooh, a Bushwhacker, and a Lightning Bolt. Pretty solid hand. Ooh, there's Honor the Pure from Cavalieri on turn 2 with no creatures. That's rough. So do you go Sky Fisher Teetering Peaks here? Or do you go Fetch Land? You could go Fetch Land Bushwhacker. He's got options. All of which deal lots and lots of damage.
And he's holding, half your life amount of burn.
Yeah. So looks like he's going to go Fetch Land, crack it. Presumably he's going Bushwhacker here. So there's a mountain. Step Links is up to 4 power. Bushwhacker would make it 5, 6, 7. He can crack for 7, dropping Cavalieri to 9.
He can finish him off with his hand.
Isn't this turn 3?
Yeah.
This is the board. This is why people like the Boris Bushwhacker deck. This is turn 3, and Bram is knocking his opponent down to 9. And he's only played 2 spells.
7.
He's still got a handful of gas. And he's got his opponent at 9. Cavalieri draws a card. What's he got? Knight of the White Orchid. Okay, that's very good here. It's a 3/3 first striker, and it does trigger going to get a Plains. That helps. Does he have another play? Feels like he needs another play here. Especially since we've seen Bram's hand. We know that... so he hasn't played a land for the turn yet. Does that. And says go. All right. Now how does Bram play it? Think you bolt first and see if there's a Brave the Elements? Then decide what to do with the rest of your stuff?
Can go, if he has a land, go Core Skyfisher, pick up Boros Bushwhacker.
But not into a 3/3 first striker. I mean, you can
No,
also...
the Core Skyfisher, though, is going to attack for 3 in the air, too.
Sure. He can also... Skyfisher Teetering Peaks is an option.
If it's a sack land, he gets a double activation on his step links.
I think I bolt... I mean, bolt and just find out. It seems good. There's a big difference between 3/3 first striker on defense or no. Well, he plays the fetch land. So that'll trigger the step links. And it'll trigger the step links again. So now the step links can beat up Knight of the White Orchid in a fight. 4/5 step links. And Bram gets a mountain. We can see, by the way, that there is, in fact, a Brave the Elements in Cavalieri's hand. And a Celestial Purge.
It's interesting. Even though Bram has been playing Magic for a long time, all of his top 8s are this decade.
Yeah. Skyfisher picks up the Bushwhacker and replays the Bushwhacker, so it goes with your plan.
There's a Celestial Purge, though. He doesn't Celestial Purge the Bushwhacker on the when he can.
Oh, as a response? Is that a trigger or?
5, that's 3. Yes. This.
No, it just picks something up, right? He doesn't know.
On the stack, though.
But I mean, Bram can pick up something else.
Okay.
Well, I think he wants to keep his Brave the Elements up. He has to choose between Brave the Elements and Core Skyfisher. All right, Bram's play here I think is better than the one I suggested. Like, my plan would have found Brave the Elements and then had a fairly impotent turn. But Bram's play, like, there's no good block here for... I mean, the Knight can pick off the Bushwhacker, but Bram's fine with that.
Yep.
And there's nothing productive that Cavalieri can do with his Brave the Elements.
Goes to 1.
Yeah, no, this play looks great.
He actually has to... I think he has to get in the way of the...
Does he have to chump the step links?
Maybe.
I mean, he can purge.
Brave.
He can Celestial Purge the Bushwhacker. And you might be right. Maybe he was supposed to purge the Bushwhacker as a response. But if he does that, Bram's then going to bolt the 3/3. Like, once Cavalieri taps out, Bram will bolt the 3/3.
And then he takes...
And replay Teetering... Oh, no, he can't play Teetering Peaks.
He takes 4.
From
the step links, but the Core Skyfisher's back, and he has a turn to regroup and do something.
Purge the Bushwhacker is the play. And chump the step links. Yeah, it seems like if that's going to be your play, you're better off doing it before the Skyfisher picks it up. So Cavalieri's at 6, was forced to chump block there. And Bram's hand is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's...
For an opponent at 6...
It's an arsonist's dream. It's just setting stuff on fire.
Yeah, there's Oblivion Ring, but yeah, the creature damage portion of the game...
is over.
Bram's not interested in creature damage. Bram is interested in going to the semifinals. There's no spell in Cavalieri's hand he even needs to play around, right? There's no way to counter a bolt. There's no instant speed life gain. He's got a fetch land for his step links anyway. All right. He just has to decide which of my many ways do I want to use to kill you.
He's at 2.
Now we get to find out something about Bram's character, though. Is he a still had these kind of a guy? There's the handshake. All right.
Actually, he's not a still had these. He's a I have you.
Yeah, fair enough. I have you. So Bram Snepvangers wins 3 games to 2. Just a blisteringly fast deck. You got to see on display. That's what the Boros Bushwhacker deck can do. He just blows out his opponent. The lands are relevant. Everything came together exactly the way Snepvangers drew it up, and he's going to the semis.